Hook off the jab sports. We back. What's going on, guys? Long time no chat. Alright guys, I got 5 fights I'm talking about with you guys today. Let's get right into it. The first one is Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. The way I see this fight, guys, is it's a fight of youth and power versus boxing ability and experience, where Daniel Dubois is the fighter with the youth and power, and Alexander Usyk is the fighter with the boxing ability and experience. Now, Usyk is nearly 10 years older than Dubois, but he is the undefeated fighter, and again, Dubois is the fighter with the power on paper. But with that said, will the age of Usyk play a factor in this fight? He looked good against Anthony Joshua, and if we're going off that fight, he seems ready to go because Anthony Joshua hits pretty hard, but is he a Daniel Dubois? You know what I mean? And we all know styles make fights. So can the experience of Usyk stand up against the power of Daniel Dubois? Or will we find out that Usyk is actually the one with the power and the experience as well? Let me know what you guys think. Next fight, we got Joyce versus Joyce-Zhang. I love that guy's nickname, Big Bang. He has a good nickname. Alright, so Joyce is looking to even the score against Zhang after losing their last fight due to an eye injury. Ironically enough, Joyce actually fought Daniel Dubois back in 2020 and broke Dubois' eye socket. So pretty ironic. The same way he won that fight is the same way he lost this fight. But yeah, he's looking to avenge his loss against Zhang. At 40 years old, can Big Bang pull off the back-to-back victory against the younger Joyce? We're just gonna have to wait and see, guys. All right. If you guys are gonna tune into that one, let me know what you guys think about it in the comment sections down below. Next fight, we have one that I'm excited for. This next fighter that I'm gonna bring up, every time he comes on the screen, I'm excited to see him fight. Unfortunately, when it comes to these big fights, he's had a bit of a tough time. So, hopefully he comes into this fight with the right mindset. I'm talking about Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith. Liam Smith knocked him out in their last fight. He served Eubank his first knockout loss, and I'm pretty sure he's coming back to do it again. So it's been 8 months since their last fight. So hopefully Eubank, isn't coming back too quickly, and he's prepared. And we're gonna get to see how that KO loss has affected Eubank Jr., who is actually no longer training with Roy Jones Jr. So, what I'm really looking at in this fight is whether or not Jr. will finally be able to rediscover himself as a fighter and get back into the win column. I would be happy to see that happen for him, but at the end of the day, his preparation and time off from the ring is going to show and prove. Alright guys, so if you're interested in that fight at all, I know I definitely am. I just enjoy watching Eubank, and I always find myself rooting for him. He's just had a tough last few fights, and not last few fights, just certain fights where you were really hoping for him to win, or you might have thought he would have won or done better than he did, and it just didn't work out for him that way. So hopefully he's found his style, settled down in a style, and learned what he could from Roy Jones, learned what he could from his father, and other fights that he's had, won and lost and stuff like that, and put it all together in this fight and pull out a big upset victory that I'm sure will do a whole lot for his confidence and his career moving forward. Alright guys, let me know what you guys think about that fight down below. The next fight, potentially one of the biggest fights of the year, Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo. Moving up 2 weight classes to fight who is considered by many to be the face of boxing is no small order, guys. Can Jermell Charlo prove the doubters wrong? Does he have the skills to box with Canelo and the power to earn Canelo's respect? You know, maybe we'll find out that it's Canelo who must earn the respect of the Charlo brother. You know, because, you know, this is boxing and you never know what's going to happen. And I honestly believe that Jermell Charlo is going in there to win the fight. All right. So the one thing I will say about this fight, though, is that, you know, if you've watched Canelo fights before, I got to say this because it's on my mind. Excuse me. Hopefully Charlo understands the dangers of leaving anything up to the judges in a Canelo fight and comes in with a game plan that addresses any potential concern. We've seen Canelo in fights where, you know, they're very controversial wins, and it tends to be fights that are left up to the judges. So with that said, will we see a game plan that addresses that issue? Do they have that concern in the Charlo camp? Will he have the power, the skills to make it very obvious and very clear that he's won the fight if he does win the fight? I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see how they both perform. One thing I also want to say is I have a lot of respect, a lot more respect for Canelo after hearing him speak English. I think that shows to me, even though I've had controversial takes on him and his fights in the past, where I felt that he didn't win certain fights, I can see through his dedication to learning a new language and even going out there and putting himself out there to speak it in public every chance that he gets, shows that he has a mentality of a person that dedicates himself to something and accomplishes it. So I could see him doing that. I now understand a little better his dedication to the sport of boxing through seeing his other accomplishments. So I wanted to give him big ups for that 100%. And I also have a lot of appreciation for how the two fighters, both Alvarez and Charlo, are carrying themselves so far in the press conferences and stuff like that. And, you know, when they meet up, I appreciate that. You know, sometimes the drama gets a little, you know, it goes over the top every once in a while. It's fun, but it can go over the top, you know, and things get personal. People become all kinds of, you know, they become a little weird. You know, boxing is like that. It's a very tribal sport, you know. So glad to see that the fighters are giving each other that respect and setting an example for others. So big ups to both fighters. All right, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a banger, guys. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about Devin Haney versus Regis-Prograis. Now, I'm not too sure. From what I've heard, the fight has been made. There's a deal on the table they signed. I'm not 100% sure about that, so I'm still waiting to see if this is actually official, this fight. But in any case, Devin Haney would be moving up to fight Prograis, so, you know, technically he should be the smaller fighter going into that fight. If this fight happens, it'll be interesting to see, you know, what approach Devin Haney will take, because on paper, Prograis is the fighter with the power between the two. But Devin Haney is the undefeated fighter between the two. So does that imply that he's the fighter with the skills? It might, because he's the fighter that was able to keep that O. So will those skills be there to do the same when he fights Prograis, if they eventually fight each other? Or will Prograis prove to be too much for Devin Haney? I'm not sure, guys. Hopefully the fight happens. I would love to see that fight. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about any of those fights down below. You know, is there any fight in particular that you're looking forward to? How do you see the fights going? If there's any fights that I didn't mention, you know, let me know. I'll look into it and let you guys know what I think about it, if you happen to give a damn, you know. In any case, thank you guys so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, hook off the jab.